Hey there guys, I'm Hello Japan, and welcome to my EA press conference discussion slash final thoughts video. If you have anything to comment on the things I say in this video, let me know in the comments down below. And with that, let's jump right into it. So first off, EA began the press conference on the right foot. They started with Mass Effect Armageddon, the title of the newest game in the Mass Effect series. Now they just showed off a small little trailer. Now there's probably a lot of Easter eggs in that trailer that if you were a huge Mass Effect fan, you probably would have picked up on. Me being like the mediocre Mass Effect fan, I like the series. I wouldn't give my firstborn to play the new one, like some people are, but I do enjoy it. I have played the first two. Eventually going to get around to playing the third all the way through. I've played about 2-3 hours of the third one. Probably going to start over again sometime soon. But I played through the first two, so I do have appreciation for the series. And with this first trailer, it got me excited. It got the press conference moving on the right way, and it was you know, had some momentum behind it. And I was like, oh yeah, we got some good games coming. Not really. Not really, but we'll get to those in a second. But with the trailer, it just showed off some cool new environments that our main character will go to. Didn't see the new main character's face. He had N7 armor on, though, which was a pretty interesting thing to see. Now, I'm assuming because it's called Andromeda, I'm assuming it's going to be called, or it's going to be taking place in the Andromeda Galaxy. Let's just call it a hunch, which would be kind of cool. Now, I don't know much about the Andromeda Galaxy other than it's on a collision course with the Milky Way, but that is something that I know about Andromeda, and that's about it. But as for Mass Effect Armageddon, or I keep saying Armageddon, it's Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda. I keep saying Armageddon, I don't know why I keep saying Armageddon, but for Mass Effect Andromeda, it comes out holiday 2016, so if you're a Mass Effect fan, and you want to play Mass Effect Andromeda, not Armageddon, Andromeda, put that on your calendars, and I guess we'll see it next E3. Kind of sucks, but we're gonna have some waiting to do. So the rest of the games, with the exception of a select few, not really that interesting. Not really that interesting. So after that, they showed off the new Need for Speed. Again, if you're a racing fan or a Need for Speed fan, awesome. Yeah, this will tie you over until the next great racing game, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this has the potential to be a really good racing game, but the problem with Need for Speed is that they've really gone downhill over the past few years. But something cool about this Need for Speed in particular is they're drawing elements from other titles. They're not running with a core theme in this game. Like Rivals, they did some dumb rivalry thing, and then Hot Pursuit, they did, oh, you're running from the cops, and you know, all these other games, they've centralized around a main idea or a main concept. This one is taking elements from all of those games and putting it into one Need for Speed. You have the customization of Underground, where you can customize every freaking aspect of your vehicle you could think of, from the wheels to the rims to the curtain, I don't know, whatever that, like the siding of the car, the hood, the build, everything you can think of. I don't know car terms. Suspension, that's something I know. You can customize everything that is possible to customize on a vehicle, I would imagine. So, I don't know, it seems kind of cool. Now, it's something they did note, it's twice the size of Rivals. Again, I don't know how big Rivals was, so whether or not that's an amazing feat, I don't know. But that is something to take note of. So besides the customization, you have the cop chases of the previous games, as well as different aspects of the series from the past. So it's kind of like a collection of the best aspects of every Need for Speed from the past jammed into one game. So it has the chance of being a really good Need for Speed game again. You know, but only time will tell. And then following Need for Speed, they showed off Star Wars: The Old Republic. Of course, the MMO that is divisive between its audience. Some people loved it, some people were very underwhelmed by it. But hopefully with this new DLC called Knights of the Fallen Empire, coming out October 27th, which is completely free, it will bring back that BioWare style of storytelling which they are claiming. Now, I don't know much about the Old Republic games. I don't even know much about the Knights of the Old Republic games that came out from BioWare quite a few years ago. I have them, never played them, but apparently the Old Republic was very lacking on BioWare styles. Like, BioWare has that very specific dialogue tree and dialogue consequences and things, and I guess it was missing from the Old Republic. So we'll see if it really does make its return with Knights of the Fallen Empire, and maybe I could get into it, because I believe the game is free to play now. I believe the game is free to play, and if I'm not mistaken, he said it was free. It could be free to the people who still pay? I don't know. I mean, we'll see though. We'll see how it actually turns out. Next up was what I believe could actually be the sleeper hit of the entire show. Not EA, but in the entire EA, or the entire E3 press events, all throughout the whole entire week. It's called Unravel. Now, it was kind of cool because it's just a 14-team development studio from northern Sweden, I believe it was. And it was so cool. The guy was up there and he was so nervous, and it was his first time being on a giant stage like this. I mean, he's just little development studio from North Sweden. I mean, coming to LA like this in front of many thousands of people and millions of people across the internet, pretty spooky. Pretty spooky. So I don't blame him on being nervous there, but he was nervous and he presented it, and I was like, I don't know if I feel it. And then we see the game. This really, really cool yarn physics-based platformer. Now, that alone may have you intrigued. May have you think of something like what was that Kirby game? Kirby Yarn, or Yarn Kirby, or it was something along those lines. But it's taking a similar idea like that, using the yarn you leave behind you, or the thread you leave behind you, to help solve puzzles and help knock things down, and it's really, really cool. I really loved the character design of the main character. I don't remember his name offhand because I didn't write it down, but the aesthetic of the game as well. It's a very beautiful looking game. All the physics seem to run how they're supposed to. You know, that's something that we'll see as the game is released. But it's just something about the game had such a level of charm that it could be one of these games that comes out and you're like, this is fantastic. This is the game I've been waiting for. Like, it really did have that impact on me just looking at it. So only time will tell whether or not it's actually going to keep that that feeling on me, and whether or not I'm going to be excited about it for months to come until it's actually released. But here is a game to keep on your radar, guys. Unraveled is really one to look out for. Then after that, they showed off some more Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. So they did show it off first at Microsoft's presser event, but they didn't really show off too much. They just said, hey, this is Garden Warfare 2. What's up, man? Come at us. But something interesting about Garden Warfare 2 is that instead of the zombies being pinned as like the attacker, the plants are this time, because the zombies have a town of their own run by the zombie boss guy, and the plants are the ones on the assault, which has a very cool twist, and I really, really do like that. And during the press conference this morning, or this afternoon rather, they did show off 4 new zombies. What was it, 4 or 3? Might have been 3. I believe it was 3. But they showed off some new zombie classes for those of you who do play the game. A class called the Imp, which is a very short and stout dual pistol looking kind of guns wielding, or maybe it was a submachine gun of some kind. Very quick zombies. I believe they said it's the fastest zombie class that there is at the moment. So he was running really, really quick around the battlefield. They also have the Super Brain, which is just, it's a big buff melee zombie superhero. It looks kind of dorky, but it is kind of cool at the same time. As well as Captain Deadbeard, which I love that name, by the way, which is the very first zombie sniper class, which is kind of cool. And again, I don't have much experience with the Garden Warfare games, or I guess game at this point. I would like to spend a little bit more time with it because it does sound quite interesting, and watching Garden Warfare 2, I'm a little bit more intrigued. However, with Garden Warfare 1, I wasn't aware that there was no solo play. But with Garden Warfare 2, they introduced a new solo play thing where you can play with NPCs, or they have, I believe, challenge maps of some kind, as well as local split screen, which is very, very cool. And I'm pretty excited to get my hands on that if I can sit down with my brother, with friends, or whatever, and we can play some Garden Warfare at split screen. Some good old-fashioned split screen. You don't see that too much anymore, so when games have it, it's really, really cool. As well as free updates. Yes, this game will receive free updates throughout its lifetime of development, which is pretty sweet. So free map packs, free character skins, free things like that. I'm assuming free holiday items to a certain extent, as well as announcing the game will come out spring 2016. So again, got a little bit of ways to wait, probably about 6 months or so, but it is shaping up to be a pretty interesting game. So after this is kind of where the boring, really extremely boring stuff happened. They talked about sports, and then after that they talked about mobile. So I'm gonna kind of like lump these together because I'm not gonna spend any time on this at all. But they talked about NHL 16, PGA Tour 16, which doesn't have the Tiger Woods moniker on it anymore, which a big middle finger to Tiger Woods. As well as something called EA Sports Ultimate Team. I don't know what that is. The new FIFA, the new Madden, the new NBA Live 16 coming out September 29th. Again, sorry sports fans, but I really don't care about any of these. So if you want to see more information, I'm sure there's plenty of information out there, but I just will not be covering it. As well as mobile. I'm going to kind of lump these together, like I said. They just showed mobile games. There's a new Star Wars mobile game, and there's a new Minions mobile game. The Minions from Despicable Me. They have their own game. And it looks the same kind of thing where you have to do an option, like do something and wait. Or you can pay to get it done. And I just, no man, no thank you. EA is the shittiest company when it comes to free-to-play, quote-unquote, free-to-play games on mobile, and I'm not buying it. I am not going to commit to that at all. Sorry, EA. Sorry. Now, something happened during the stream at this point now. At the very beginning of the showing off, I guess you could say, of Mirror's Edge 2, which at the time I thought it was called Mirror's Edge 2, Twitch died. The whole site across the entire stream, every single stream from around the world died. Just like that. And it was funny. It was 180,000 people watching the E3 Twitch official stream. Chat blew up. Oh, people were freaking out. And then all of a sudden, I tried to jump over to another channel. People were freaking out. Another channel, people were freaking out. And it's interesting because there was 300,000 people watching the CSGO finals, alongside 185,000 people watching a different E3 stream, along 180,000 people watching another E3 stream. And now whether it was a DDoS or what it was, every single stream on Twitch went down and Twitch died. So I didn't get to see any of Mirror's Edge until after the press conference. And what I did find out is it's called Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It looks very different compared to Mirror's Edge 1. Mirror's Edge 1 was like, the best way I can describe it is like very white and red. Very contrasting colors. This one, however, takes a more real-world approach in terms of the way it looks. So in the first game, when you wanted to see something you can interact with or climb, it was red. In this game, it still is red, but you have to pay attention to a little bit more subtle cues like scuff marks on the wall, scuff marks on railings and things where you can go and run up them and grab them. As well as the game being open world, which was a big surprise. I didn't think it would be open world. That is one thing I didn't think it would be. It's an open world, no loading screen, free roaming, free running game. That's a mouthful, but that's exactly what it is. Now, because like I said, I missed a majority of it. I don't know if they showed any story stuff. I don't know if they showed anything more than just saying, hey, this is Mirror's Edge Catalyst, enjoy. I really couldn't tell you any more than that. However, I did see that it is coming out February 23rd, 2016. So not too far away. Not too far away. You know, you gotta wait a couple months, but it is coming, and just hope that it is not delayed, because it actually does look pretty cool. And finally, to wrap up the press conference, they showed off, drumroll please, Star Wars Battlefront. Yep. And funnily enough, this was at the very point where I said, screw it, we're not going to deal with Twitch, we're going to go to YouTube real quick, watch some YouTube streams, and see if we can actually catch any Battlefront footage. And I missed some of the beginning footage just because the stream died and I was trying to scramble and find a place to view this from. But for the most part, I got it. It seems like the action of Battlefield mixed with the original Battlefront, or I guess Battlefront 1 and 2, which sounds weird, sounds very strange, I'll admit, but if you go watch it, it is very, very interesting. Now, whether or not you'll be sold on it, I don't know. I mean, if you enjoyed Battlefront, you'll probably enjoy this, and if you enjoyed Battlefield, I think you would also enjoy this, because unless you don't like Star Wars, then there's no point. But it is very, very cool. The sense of scale is grand, like you see in Battlefield. You can, just like in the first games, you can run up to the level they played at Hoth. You can run up to the giant AT-ATs, go and take them out using the giant ships. I don't remember. I don't know any of the Star Wars ships, but all the classic Star Wars Hoth ships were there. The TIE fighters were there, you know, every single classic vehicle you could think was there, but there's no space segments, as far as we know right now, which kind of sucks, but they're keeping it on the ground for this point. And one thing to note, I did write down, it was captured on a PS4, which it looked really good. And I imagine if it is released on PC, it will look substantially better. Now, they haven't said whether or not it's going to be released on anything other than PS4 and Xbox One. I would imagine PC is in there, and I've probably seen it somewhere, but as of this point, I haven't noticed it. And I have written down here single player. I guess there's single player. Like I said, it's been a couple hours since I've actually watched that stream, so I don't know if that's true or not, but that is something to keep in mind, that there is a single player campaign to this, as well as local multiplayer and online multiplayer. So you can get that classic Battlefield fix like we used to back in the days of PS2. Battlefront fix. There we go, Battlefront fix, not Battlefield. So guys, that'll wrap it up for me for the EA press event. I thought it was okay. I mean, they had the great game to begin with, Mass Effect Andromeda, not Armageddon, Mass Effect Andromeda. Then Need for Speed was okay. Again, I'm not a big Need for Speed fan. Garden Warfare 2 looks, you know, pretty adorable as it is. It's just Garden Warfare just is, Plants vs Zombies as a whole has always been like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they did the sports and mobile thing, which I kind of fell asleep to, and then they showed Mirror's Edge 2, which I missed because Twitch died. And then Battlefront, which Battlefront was just as cool as I thought it would be, which was pretty cool. So if you did actually watch the EA press conference, let me know what you think or what you thought of the press conference as a whole, or about any of the games that I've discussed today, whether you're excited for any of them or none of them. Let me know in the comments down below. But that'll wrap it up for me today, guys. Well, I guess for now, I'll come back probably within a few hours with the Ubisoft and Sony press conference. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for me. I want to thank you for watching. I've been Hello Japan. This has been my thoughts on the EA press conference, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!